Have you ever found yourself, in that situation? You're trying to say something really precise, maybe navigating a new language, or heck, even just trying to sound perfectly articulate in English, and then, bam, one tiny word trips you up.
Oh, absolutely. Those little words like in, on, at, for.
They seem so simple.
Right. But they cause the biggest headaches sometimes. Get one wrong, and the whole meaning can shift. It's like they're the secret architects holding our sentences together.
They really are deceptively simple, those little grammatical connectors.
Yeah.
But their power, it's immense, shaping clarity, nuance, meaning. They are, like you said, unsung heroes, or sometimes silent saboteurs if you misuse them. Getting them right is a huge step towards, really confident communication.
That's it. And it's funny, isn't it? These tiny words, often just skimmed over, are actually the secret sauce to sounding truly native, really precise. And that's exactly what we're aiming for today.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your source material, articles, research, notes, whatever you've got, and boil it down to the essentials. We're here to deliver those aha moments you've been looking for without burying you in information.
And today we're diving into a very specific, custom-tailored mission, the often tricky world of prepositions. We're going to explore how these small but mighty words link ideas and how using them precisely can completely change what a sentence means. Our goal really is to take this common grammatical stumbling block and turn it into a source of clear understanding and hopefully real confidence for you listening in.
And to help us navigate this, we've got a fantastic set of sources. We're talking a real-world interview transcript gives us a great feel for how prepositions actually sound in conversation.
That's super useful.
Then we have detailed grammar explanations, like a map laying out the core rules. And finally, some really practical exercises to put it all to the test. We're going to unpack all of this, highlight the surprises, the common traps, and really help you get well-informed on this absolutely vital part of English.
So what you can expect is a clear path. We'll start by listening in on that real conversation, seeing prepositions in action, naturally, even when someone's a bit nervous.
Yeah, see how they just pop up.
Exactly. Then we'll dive deep into the rules, the connections between verbs, adjectives, nouns, and their specific prepositions. Not just what to use, but really understanding why they matter, what meaning do they actually add.
And finally, we'll test that knowledge with some insightful exercises straight from our sources.
Yeah.
This isn't about memorizing lists, not really.
No.
It's about building that intuitive feel, like a reflex, so you can use these words confidently, precisely. Get ready to really master these small but powerful tools.
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's unpack this first source. It drops us right into a really interesting scenario, an interview for a teacher training course. We get to hear from a student, Sarah. And this isn't just, a listening task. It's a window into how prepositions are actually used in real-time conversation, even when someone's a bit nervous, like Sarah probably is here.
Right, it's grammar in the wild, basically. No one's consciously thinking, oh, I need this preposition here. It just flows, or sometimes stumbles.
Exactly. Now, before we even listen, the source asks us to do something quite interesting, and it's a great exercise for you too. It says, try to predict what Sarah might be worried about.
Yeah, put yourself in her shoes. Starting a demanding course involves teaching. Oh. What would you be concerned about?
Finding a place to live. The workload.
Or maybe, actually managing a classroom full of kids for the first time. That's daunting.
Totally. These are real concerns. And notice how we often express them using specific prepositional phrases without even thinking.
That's the key.
So let's listen into the interview. As you listen, pay attention to those small words. How do they connect ideas? What do they tell them about Sarah's thoughts, her feelings?
Okay, let's hear it.
Simulated brief pause. Okay, so here's the exchange.
Right.
Interviewer starts. Come in, Sarah. I do apologize for keeping you waiting. Would you like a cup of tea or coffee?
And Sarah replies, that's very kind of you, but I'm fine, thanks.
Interviewer. Now, I just want to run through a few questions with you. Firstly, why have you applied for this course?
Sarah. Well, I've always been interested in teaching, and I've just finished my first degree at Stanford University, so I'd like to gain a teaching qualification.
Interviewer. Right, and can you explain your reasons for choosing our college specifically?
Sarah. Well, that's easy. My brother lives in the city, and I'm hoping for a place on this course because then I'll be able to share a flat with him.
Interviewer. Oh, I see. So there isn't anything about our course that attracts you.
Sarah. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. I was really impressed with the description of the course in your prospectus. I haven't applied to the other university in the city because their course didn't appeal to me as much.
Interviewer. That's interesting. Can you say a bit more about what interests you about this course?
Sarah. Well, I like the structure of it and the fact that all the focus in the first term is on theory. I like the idea of learning about teaching before being asked to do it. Do you see what I mean?
Interviewer. Yes. And it sounds like a good reason to apply for our course. Have you talked to anyone who has done this course?
Sarah. Yes, my friend did it last year. She warned me about all of the hard work, but that's okay. I expect to work hard.
Interviewer. Excellent. Now, do you have any concerns about the course?
Sarah. Well, I must admit there are some aspects of the course that I'm a bit scared of.
Interviewer. What are they?
Sarah, well, you can see from my application form that I'm not very good at maths. Will that cause me any problems?
Interviewer. That's very honest of you, but there is no need to worry about that. It's not important for this course.
Sarah. Oh, that's a relief. But the thing I'm most worried about is the classroom practice.
Interviewer. Well, most people are frightened of being in front of a class for the first time, but the tutors will help you to feel more confident.
Sarah, I haven't had any real experience of teaching, and I'm worried about not being able to control a class and the pupils being rude to me. If they shout at me in class, I'm not sure what I'll do.
Interviewer. That's a common worry, but you will be taught how to deal with those things by the tutors on the course. In the end, of course, you have to take responsibility for what happens in your classroom, but you will be much better able to cope after training.
Sarah, well, that makes me feel a bit better. Thanks.
Interviewer. Right. Well, I don't want to make you late for your train. Thank you for coming, and we'll be in touch soon by email, if that's okay.
Wow. Even just in that short bit, there are so many.
Right. It's packed right from the start. Apologize for keeping you waiting. That forward links the apology to the reason. So clear.
Mm-hmm. And Sarah's immediate kind of you, using of to describe the person's character through their action. It just sounds right, doesn't it?
It really does. Then she gets into her motivations, her long-standing interest in teaching.
Classic pairing. Interested always goes with in for the topic, doesn't it? It tells you where the interest lies.
Yeah, you're not interested about it or on it. It's him. And then she wants to share accommodation with her brother, with clearly showing companionship, doing something together.
Definitely. And her first impression, she was impressed with the description. This brings up that impressed with or impressed by pairing. We'll dig into that slight difference later. It's quite interesting.
Oh, yeah, good point. And I like how she specified her preference, learning about teaching, that learn about signals, exploring the topic, not just, learning facts.
It implies a deeper dive, doesn't it? And then her concerns. This is where it gets really insightful about fixed pairings. Her maths anxiety. Not very good at maths.
Textbook example.
Yeah.
Good at, bad at, always at for ability or skill.
It's like you're aiming at proficiency. You wouldn't say good in maths in standard English. At signifies performance at a task.
And her biggest worry, classroom practice. Worried about not being able to control a class. That structure is perfect. Worried about, plus the ing form.
Exactly. About points to the subject of the worry. And then the directed actions. Pupils being rude to me. 2 shows the target that rudeness is aimed at her.
Towards her, yeah. And if they shout at me, again, indicating the direct target of the action, the shouting, it's not just random. These words have specific jobs.
They really do. And our source material helpfully includes the interviewer's notes, which kind of summarizes these key phrases. It helps focus our attention.
Oh, that's useful. Like a quick recap.
Yeah. The notes confirm she was interested in teaching, wants to share with her brother, and was impressed by the description. See, the notes used by.
Oh, interesting. So impressed with, in speech, impressed by, in the notes. That little variation is something we definitely need to look at. Does it change the meaning slightly?
Potentially, yeah. Or it might just be a common alternative. The notes also recap her learning about teaching. Her friend warned about the hard work. She's not good at math, has no experience of teaching, and is worried about not controlling the class and fears pupils might shout at her. It really cements those natural pairings.
So this whole exercise, just listening and looking at the notes, it immediately shows how these verbs, adjectives, nouns, they're tightly linked to specific prepositions to get the meaning across precisely. You start to feel the rhythm, which brings us to the big question. Is there a system here? Is it logical? Or is it just, thousands of random phrases you have to memorize? Because sometimes it feels like that.
That's the million-dollar question for learners, isn't it? But here's the good news.
Hmm.
It's not random. Our source gives us the guiding principle, our compass for this deep dive. The choice of preposition in a clause often depends on the adjective, verb, or noun which comes before it.
Okay, so the word before the preposition is the key.
Exactly. It's the driver. Think of the verb, adjective, or noun as choosing its preposition partner to create a specific meaning. It's a system, and understanding that system makes it way less intimidating.
A system. Okay, I like the sound of that. It's not just an add-on. The preposition is almost part of the verb or adjective's meaning. So let's dive into that system, starting with a first big category. Verb plus preposition. This is huge, but our source gives us a great map.
It does. First pattern. Verbs of saying or thinking often take about when you're indicating the topic. Think, care about, complain about, hear about, know about, learn about, talk about, think about, worry about points straight to the subject matter.
Like Sarah saying she wants to learn about teaching, learning focused on that topic.
Precisely. But, and this is a crucial point where people often slip up, some verbs of saying or thinking don't need a preposition, like discuss, debate, consider, mention. You just say, we need to discuss the problem.
Not discuss about.
Right. Getting that right makes your English sound much more natural. Instantly. Then there are verbs of saying followed by to plus a person. This shows who you're talking to. Apologize to, explain to, speak to, talk to, write to.
Like the interviewer asking Sarah, have you talked to anyone? Clearly directed communication.
Then we have action verbs that use at plus a person or thing to show the focus or target. Aim at, fire at, laugh at, look at, point at, shout at.
Like Sarah's fear. If
Yeah.
they shout at me, the
Right.
at shows the direct target of that action.
Exactly. It's a very direct connection. Next up, verbs expressing desire or a goal often use for. Aim for, hope for, long for, wish for. For introduces the thing you want. I'm aiming for a distinction.
Okay, aiming for the goal. But you mentioned a nuance here.
Yes, a subtle but important one. If aim, hope, or long are followed directly by another verb, they switch to plus infinitive. So I'm hoping to get a distinction, not hoping for getting.
Ah, okay. Hoping for a thing, hoping to do an action. Got it. That's a neat distinction.
It really clarifies the grammar. Then verbs of prevention or separation often use from, prevent from, stop from, learn from. This lock should prevent thieves from breaking in. From indicates the separation or source.
Like a barrier. Makes sense. And assurance or conviction.
Verbs like assure and convince usually take of. I assured him of my support. She convinced me of her innocence. Of connects to the thing you're sure about.
Right. And reliance or dependence.
That's typically on. Concentrate on, count on, depend on, insist on, rely on. You rely on someone, you insist on something. It implies placing weight or focus on it.
Okay. And finally, accompaniment or interaction.
That often uses with. Be with, deal with, go out with, play with, stay with, like Sarah wanting to share accommodation with her brother, with signals connection, being together.
But didn't you mention a big exception here?
Ah, yes, the classic one, the verb marry. We do not use a preposition. You say, she married him, not she married with him.
That's a really common mistake, isn't it? Good one to flag.
Definitely. So that's a whirlwind tour of verb patterns. It shows there is logic, specific meanings tied to these pairings.
It really does. Okay, let's shift gear to the next category. Adjective plus preposition. Adjectives describe things, and prepositions link those descriptions to what they're about, painting a clearer picture.
Exactly. And similar patterns emerge. For feelings or concerns, about is very common. Anxious about, annoyed about, concerned about, excited about, worried about.
Like Sarah being worried about not being able to control a class. The worry is about that specific thing.
And remember, she also said scared of. That's another very fixed one for fear. Scared of, frightened of, terrified of. Of points to the source of the fear.
Right. And for ability or performance, we saw this one clearly.
Almost always at. Awful at, bad at, clever at, good at, skilled at, terrible at. Sarah, I'm not very good at maths. Crystal clear. Using at for ability is a real marker of natural English.
Good to know. What about reactions, like impressed?
Often by, sometimes with. Amazed by, annoyed by, astonished by, disturbed by, impressed by, shocked by, surprised by. Now, remember, Sarah said impressed with the description, but the note said impressed by.
Yes. What's the difference there? Is there one?
There can be a subtle one. Often impressed with focuses more on the quality or details.
Mhm.
Impressed with the quality, impressed with his attitude. Impressed by might lean more towards the agent or the source, causing the impression impressed by the performance, impressed by her generosity.
Ah, okay. That's subtle but useful. With the details. By the
Fair.
source. Interesting.
It's a slight nuance. For responsibility or reason, it's usually for. Bad for, concerned for, good for, responsible for. He is responsible for the whole team. Links the adjective to what it applies to.
And engagement or interest.
That's in. Disappointed in, interested in.
Mhm.
Sarah again. Always been interested in teaching. A very solid pairing.
Fear, we covered of. Frightened of, scared of, terrified of. Most people are frightened of public speaking.
Right. Now, here's a neat rule for politeness or describing behavior, starting with it, that, or this. Adjectives like clever, generous, good, kind, nice, selfish take of.
Like Sarah's response to the coffee offer. That's very kind of you.
Exactly. The of connects the kindness to the person implied by that.
And behavior directed towards others.
That's usually to, cruel to, good to, kind to, mean to, nasty to, polite to, rude to. Sarah's worry. Pupils being rude to me. To shows the direction of the action.
Okay. And finally, problems or issues.
Often with. Annoyed with, bored with, concerned with, disappointed with, fed up with, obsessed with, pleased with, satisfied with. It shows an association or involvement with something.
Wow, okay, that covers adjectives. Again, clear patterns linked to meaning, so verbs, adjectives.
What about noun plus preposition? Do nouns also have preferred partners?
They certainly do. For topics or information, nouns like information, anything, nothing, something often take about. Do you have any information about the news schedule?
Okay, information about. Reason or responsibility with nouns. Often for. Excuse for, explanation for, need for, reason for, reputation for, responsibility for. There's no excuse for that kind of mistake.
Changes or quantities.
That's frequently in. A change in, a decrease in, a drop in, experience in, a fall in, an increase in, a rise in.
We've seen a significant increase in sales. Indicates movement or state within something.
Knowledge or understanding.
Usually of.
Great.
Experience of, knowledge of, understanding of. She has extensive knowledge of marine biology. Signifies familiarity with the subject.
Influence.
That's on. Effect on, impact on, influence on. The weather had a major impact on the game.
Yeah.
Shows how one thing acts upon another.
And association.
Often with. In association with, experience with. He has direct experience with his software.
Great. So those are the core pairings, verb plus prep, adjective plus prep, noun plus prep. But you mentioned there are also special prepositional phrases and nuances, things that are more like fixed expressions.
Exactly. These are incredibly useful for sounding natural because they often function as single units. Our source highlights the versatility of by, for instance. All right, by does a lot of work. What are its main jobs?
First, it indicates the agent in a passive sentence who did the action. Like in the interview, you will be taught by the tutors. The tutors are doing the teaching.
Okay, agent and passive. By. What else?
Method or means how something is done. You open the door by turning the key. We communicate by email. It explains the process.
Right. And we heard that in the interview too. We'll be in touch by email. Covers transport and communication modes too, like by car, by train, by phone.
Now remember, for specific journeys, we often use in or on, in the car, on the bus. By is more for the general mode.
Good point. Any other uses for by?
Yes, in fixed phrases for chance or accident. By chance, by accident, by mistake. I found the keys by chance. You just have to learn these as set phrases.
Got it. Fixed phrases. What about in? Any common expressions?
Loads of them, often describing a state or condition. In love, in pain, in trouble, in debt, in danger, in a rush, in fashion, in the end. Like the interviewer said, keep in touch. It implies a state of connection.
And that in time versus on time difference is crucial too.
Absolutely. On time is punctual. In time is before a deadline or event occurs, with time to spare. Big meaning difference.
Okay. How about common phrases with at?
There are fixed ones, like at first, at last, at least at large, at peace. At first, I didn't like it. Sets the initial state. And at is very common for general locations or points. At work, at home, at school, at the airport, at university, at the traffic lights. Sarah finished her degree at Stanford University. Implies being present there for the activity.
Right. And on is used for purpose of presence.
Yes, often. To say why you are somewhere, on holiday, on business, on duty, on strike. It suggests the activity you're engaged in while there.
And of with quantities.
Exactly. All of, any of, both of, either of, some of, many of. Used when selecting from a group. Can I have some of that cake?
Okay, these fixed phrases and special uses are really helpful for fluency. Now, there was a grammar extra point in the source that seems really fundamental for actually using these prepositions correctly. What comes after them?
Yes, this is absolutely key for building sentences. The rule is prepositions can be followed by a noun, a pronoun, or the egem form of a verb, which we call a gerund.
Noun, pronoun, or ing form. Okay, can we see examples?
Sure. From Sarah's interview, noun. Impressed with the description. Description is a noun. Pronoun, shout at me. Me is a pronoun. And the ing form, gerund, interested in teaching. Teaching acts like a noun here, the object of her interest.
That makes sense. Noun, pronoun, or verb acting like a noun. And what about negatives with that ing form? That seemed important.
Very important for clarity. The word not goes between the preposition and the ing form.
So like Sarah's worry. Worried about not being able to control a class.
Exactly. Not about being. The about not being structure clearly negates the action or lack of action that follows the preposition. It specifies that the absence of being able to control is the worry.
Ah, okay. It targets the negation right onto the verb form. That clarifies the meaning instantly. Very useful structure.
It's essential for accurate negative statements involving gerunds after prepositions. Makes your English precise and fluent.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
We've covered the rules, seen them in action, looked at nuances and structures. Now for the really practical part, putting it into practice. Lessons from exercises. This is where we see common mistakes and learn how to fix them, right? Where the real learning sticks.
Absolutely. Correcting mistakes is often the best way to learn grammar deeply. Our source has a great exercise, C2, highlighting common errors. For example, distinguish amongst, incorrect.
What should it be?
Distinguish between. Between is generally for two distinct items or groups. Among is for three or more less distinct items, like finding something among a crowd. It's about clear separation versus being part of a mix.
Okay, between for distinct items, among for a general group. Got it. What else?
There is no need about a new school. Nope. It's no need for a new school. The noun need pairs with for to show what the need relates to.
Need for something. Makes sense.
How about this one? I hate the way she always laughs to people.
Ooh, that sounds wrong. Should be laughs at people.
Exactly. At indicates the target of the laughter, even if it's unkind. A laugh twos doesn't work.
Okay. And applying for jobs. People get this wrong a lot.
They do. I've decided to apply to that job. Incorrect. It should be apply for that job. You apply for the position or opportunity you want.
But you apply to the company or the university, right?
Precisely. Apply to the institution for the specific thing. Job, course, grant.
Good distinction. What about knowledge?
Professor Ho has a good knowledge about his subject. Sounds okay, but the standard, more precise form is knowledge of his subject. Knowledge of implies deeper familiarity.
Right, knowledge of, and that accident phrase.
I broke this glass in accident. Common error. It's a fixed idiom by accident, just like by chance or by mistake.
Gotta learn those idioms. Okay, staying with people.
My husband's staying at my cousin. Incorrect if you mean with the person. It should be staying with my cousin. With for the person, at for the place. Like at my cousin's house or at a hotel.
Okay, with the person. And insisting.
Why do governments always insist in doing things? Nope. It's you insist on something, taking a firm stand on it. Fixed pairing.
Insist on. Got it. And school. In school or at school.
Generally, for attending the place, it's at school. When I was at school, I played football. In school can sometimes mean during my time as a student, but at school is more common for the location of attendance.
Okay, these corrections are super helpful. They really show why the standard form is preferred. But the source also has that apology letter exercise, C4, which sounds like a great way to see these prepositions working together in a real context.
It's excellent for that. It forces you to use the right prepositions for professionalism and clarity. Let's look at some key phrases. The manager writes, disturbed by your account.
Okay, by showing the cause or agent of the disturbance. Reaction plus cause.
Right, then apologize for this.
For giving the reason for the apology. Standard.
Shocked by the way the employee spoke.
Again, by indicating the cause of the shock.
No excuse for such behavior.
For linking the noun excuse to the behavior.
Complain about the situation.
About specifying the topic of the complaint, like worry about.
No explanation for or of the way.
Ah, interesting. For the reason. maybe of for the details. Both work.
Exactly. Both are plausible here, showing a little flexibility. Then, reputation for being good at looking after.
Twofer. Reputation for the quality and good at the ability. Nice.
Experience of our service.
Experience of, meaning familiarity with it.
Deal with the staff member.
Deal with, meaning handle or interact with.
Repeat this behavior by sending her on a course.
By explaining the method or means of prevention.
Not typical of our staff.
Typical of, showing characteristic association.
Responsible for all our employees.
Responsible for, indicating accountability.
Any of our hotels.
Any of, the quantity phrase, selecting from the group.
That whole letter just demonstrates how crucial accurate preposition use is for clear professional communication. Getting them right elevates the whole message.
It really does. It moves from just understandable to precise and authoritative. Okay, so wrapping this all up, what are the main key takeaways for you, our listener?
Well, the biggest thing is the power of precision. These tiny words, prepositions, are absolutely crucial for clarity. They're not random. They follow patterns linked to verbs, adjectives, and nouns.
And context is king, right? The word before the preposition is usually the key determinant, along with the specific meaning you want to convey. It's a system.
It is, and the best way to master the system is through active observation. Pay attention when you read and listen. Notice those pairings. Depend on, interested in, good at. Once you start spotting them, the patterns become much clearer.
And by understanding these rules and patterns, you can avoid common errors, sound much more natural, and really express yourself with greater accuracy and confidence. It's about moving from guessing to knowing.
Exactly. It's a shortcut to being truly well-informed and effective in your communication.
So we've journeyed through Sarah's interview, dissected the grammar rules, tackled exercises. You should now have a really solid foundation for understanding the why behind preposition usage, not just the what's.
And that why is everything for true mastery. Which leaves us with maybe a final thought. If one tiny preposition can subtly change a sentence's meaning, imagine the richness and nuance layered throughout the entire language. As you go about your day, listen actively. Can you start to feel the right preposition? Does it depend on, just sound right in a way depend with doesn't?
That intuition starts to build, doesn't it? The English language, even its smallest parts, is full of these fascinating connections. Keep exploring, keep noticing those patterns, and always keep asking why. That curiosity is your best guide.